Welcome to Ag Shorts. I'm Calen Carpenter. With me is my father, co-host, and partner, Brandon. We will give you a bunch of opinions, throw out some facts every once in a while, and explain some information within 5 minutes or less. For this topic, we will go with the definition of regenerative agriculture. Go.
Regenerative agriculture.
Yeah.
I talk real slow. I'll use up a bunch of time. You know, I don't know. I don't know what context, I guess, other than sustainability.
Yeah, that's what we talked about before in Hashknife
Yeah.
Hangouts is mostly for sustainability. And we kept going back to you take care of the land because the land takes care of you. Also, if you're ranching, the fact of you take care of the animals because the animals take care of you.
Yeah, it's a balance, and it's a moving target continually, depending on rainfall, depending on, grasshoppers. We're losing a lot of grass right now to grasshoppers, and we don't have the grass to spare. It's tough for everybody in this Northwest area, particularly Montana, Wyoming, Idaho. Dakota's been hit really hard, North Dakota especially. So, that moving target means every year you're continually saying, okay, can I put this many cows on this piece of ground? If the answer is no, you either feed extra or you have to get rid of some cows and hope that it's going to rain and you haven't done damage to your ground in the meantime by overgrazing. And then the next year, again, we're praying for rain year round. That's king. And so if you get the rain, then maybe you can, save a few more heifers or go and buy some bred heifers, and hopefully they can pay for themselves the third year that you breed them. And they had their third calf is when you would start to see a profit on them. Not a whole profit, but a partial profit. They'd at least have themselves paid off in that time. If the market holds, and if it rains enough that you can hold them for those many years and be able to sustain them and a calf without, again, feeding, costing more money, or having to sell them. So it's all about being able to feed a cow, keep a cow or a pair, and do that from one year to the next without damaging the ground and without making your animals too thin because you got not enough to feed them. Pretty simple concept, but it's not as easy as one would think.
One question is, in order to regenerate the ground, so to speak, for any overuse of it, what's a best practice, or what are a couple of best practices to bring that ground back and make it so it's productive and useful for your animals?
I think the biggest one to do is rest. You just don't run anything on it. And we've got a piece of lease ground that the previous leasee overgrazed, put more animals on there. I know they had more animals on there than what they said they were supposed to. And they ran it into the ground, and the owner had to basically let it rest a year and not put anything on it. And it did a lot of good for it. And then of course I want to maintain a lease. So we put on there what those AUMs say we can. And I've had, pairs mainly, but there's been a year or two when we've had less pairs, and we've just said, hey, this is what the AUMs are. How about we, throw some heifers on here because we have had less and work out the same AUMs. And they're like, yeah, that's no problem. So you don't violate that, because if you do, somebody else is going to take your lease. So that's how that works, realistically. And you just don't do that. Just try to treat it as like it's your own, or even better because it's somebody else's. But that's what happens. Rest is the big one. And then a lot of times you got to control weeds that are going to come up in there that are an unscheduled consequence of overgrazing. So there's a lot of times that'll happen, raise its ugly head, and now you got to go in there and chemically get rid of some of those weeds.
Well, that's regenerative ag from our perspective.